Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I've been watching the Academics and Wallow and Gilly the Kid podcast. Man, they were this Gilly and Wallow's podcast. They had back on there, and I got through half of it right now, and something prompted me to turn on my screen. But I was enjoying the heck out of that. That was really good. But the thing about it was, Academics was questioned about his beef, so-called beef with my son, and without getting into too much about it, they've gone into a back and forth. My son is an individual who's a rapper, back from like the early 2000s, late 90s, and has since moved on from rap and is now kind of taking his career toward activism and basically trying to be available to the people in his own way. And he has had issues with academics and stuff like that. So to make a long story short, it's basically academics. They were sitting there with a phone call placed to my son, and the conversation didn't really get all the way through. People were talking over each other. You know how that goes. So to make a long story short, part of the conversation that prompted me to talk was basically academics explaining why, he deserves to be able to speak, the to my son the same way that my son speaks to him, and he just doesn't understand why he doesn't get respected as a man in a certain way he spoke. um, he doesn't understand why people are telling him he can't speak a certain way towards certain people, um, and why you know he can speak to certain street type individuals who live by a street code, individuals who live by a certain type of lifestyle that he doesn't relate to, why he thinks he can talk a certain way to them, and there's a disconnect that is pretty much obvious to everybody but Ak. And I think it'll be obvious to most of the people um, who watch it. But the disconnect is not understanding that certain mistakes can only be made once. A guy like Academics is he stands on what he believes as a man, but he admits that he's not from a lifestyle that would be able to match some of the energy that's coming his way from a physical standpoint. He doesn't have training as it pertains to being, violent in any way. He doesn't have experience in that lifestyle. So for him, it's like, even so, he's like, just because you a street dude doesn't mean that you can bully me. I'm gonna stand up, I'm a man first. And it's like, I understand that part, and every man has their own um, level of word, what they're gonna stand on and what they'll stand for and what they'll die for, etc. Everybody, right? But it comes to an understanding when you are raised in a city like myself, when you raised in a city like Los Angeles as a civilian, but you understand that there are certain things you just cannot do. You can stick your chest out all you want. You can feel all the confidence in the world. You can even have guns on you, but at the end of the day, you're going to be dealing with numbers. You're going to be dealing with more people going against you in whatever it is you're doing, if it's a infraction. You know what I mean? So you need to fall in line in this city, or you need to find some numbers. That's where I'm from. So when it comes to this type of thing, I know better than to run my mouth a certain way. I know better than to put certain energy out. It's not because I don't have pride as a man. It's not because I don't feel I deserve respect. It doesn't. It's not because I can't swing my fist or shoot a gun. It ain't because of none of that. It's because I know what it feel like to get hit in the mouth. It's because I know bullets go straight through my skin. It's because I understand that knives can pierce it too. You know what I mean? It's because I know the hands and feet, they really hurt. It comes to a point where a lot of times people run their mouth because they never been hit in it. You know what I mean? A lot of times people will talk shit because they never been kicked in their ass. Straight up. And I just look at Academics and I say he's too powerful of a voice and too important of a figure in our community to have this disconnect as it pertains to the image that he shows, the consequences of his actions as it pertains to what comes out of his mouth and what could potentially come his way from which he has never experienced, and the harshness of those experiences for which haven't come yet. The fact that some of these people that he's talking to, they're not going to be interested in rationalizing with him as it pertains to whether or not he deserves respect or whether or not he should have a right to say the things that he's saying. They're going to come at him with their numbers, and it's going to be that. And it's not going to matter if you can stand on what you're saying or if you can rationalize and your mouth can move and say certain words or not, or how many people you paid to do this or do that. None of that is going to matter. What's going to matter is whether or not, as they were saying on the podcast, whether or not you're going to be quicker to the draw than the dude in front of you who's very serious. You know, it's gotten to a point where it's like someone from the civilian side of the game, someone on the outside has to look at what Akademiks is saying and say, brother, I'm a civilian too. I feel very strongly that I shouldn't be bullied by nobody outside. I feel very strongly that all of my family and friends should be able to move freely and this and that and the third. But guess what? There are intricacies, the politics outside. You won't know where it's coming from. Person you arguing with, you think, you know what I'm saying? You talking to somebody, I got a conflict with you, da 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 da. You don't know they got friends down the street that's coming around the corner. The lesson I learned, I had gotten into an argument with somebody. I was drunk. And I was, minding my business the wrong way. Getting in somebody's face, talking belligerent. I don't know what he said to me. He probably didn't say nothing to me at all. I was just drunk and being negative. And me and this person, we were face to face. Now, mind you, I was yapping. I didn't have no intention of fighting this dude. But the stuff that was coming out of my mouth was violent. And I deserved what was coming next. Out of nowhere, a punch hit me dead in the eye, fractured my skull in 3 places, right here. Now, mind you, that punch didn't knock me out. I got right back up, took my shirt off, ready to fight. The person who punched me, they had jumped in their car and left. Never even saw him. I was so drunk, I never saw him. Sucker punched out of nowhere, but the point was, that could have been a gunshot to the back of my head. That could have been a knife in my back. Could have been a lot worse. And the point I'm trying to make is this. The person I was fighting with, the person I was having conflict with, the person I thought I had the upper hand on, didn't have nothing. Because the streets don't play fair. He had friends I didn't even know was over there. He had a homie that all that homie had to do was see him in conflict. And I never saw it coming. So while Ak is sitting up here talking about, I'm a man, and there's certain stuff I'm going to stand for, and I look in the comment section and all these other individuals who are like-minded like him sitting there, yeah, we're not street people, we're going to take... No, you got to understand something. When you're talking about quote-unquote street people, the reason why they're able to have a certain level of ferociousness as it pertains to an energy that you're not going to be able to match is because they're in a space that makes it so that the energy they take back is just as bad all the time. It's conditioning, no different than a person who cooks all the time who's going to be better at cooking. I do a lot of playlists, I'm good at that. If I were outside 24/7, living with elements, doing what's outside, I would be more equipped to deal with it. So regardless of what comes out of my mouth, whether I'm quiet or boisterous, when it comes to whatever time it is, I'm going to be able to match the energy that it comes with. As to where a civilian, when you live in your comfortable world where you can rationalize through everything and the people that you are in conflict with, you can converse with, and when you deal with them, it's paperwork, and you know what I mean? That is not the same thing as dealing with what's outside, the elements that are out there. When someone comes up to you, not with thoughts, not with conversation, just with a plan to do whatever they're gonna do, annihilate you basically, or to backdoor you. You know what I mean? You never see it coming. You sitting here arguing with this person, here they come, never see it. So my thing is this: if you follow my channel and you saw what Ak was on, don't do that. don't follow him on that rah chest out. I can say whatever I want to anybody. Stand up to every bully because a bully ain't gonna touch me. I'll sue him. Mentality, no. Don't do that. If you're not prepared, like literally prepared in both numbers and training, you should keep your mouth shut in certain situations. You should stay out of business that ain't your own. And don't try to match the energy of somebody who's war ready. Regardless of whether it's some street stuff or not. If you ain't like that, don't play like that. You know what I mean? And don't think that you can rationalize or talk your way through something when somebody sees red looking at you. You need to get out the way. Ain't no, oh, well, I'm a man, so I'm going to stand here and tell him to pull up, and he's going to show up, but he never did anything. You don't get a chance to make that mistake twice. That let me see if he going to do it or not mistake, that's one you only get to make once. Because if he do it, you gone. That's the reality of it. No more of this talk about, oh, what you can do. I'm a civilian, but listen, if you're a civilian, stay civil. Stay out of the streets. You are not, there's sidewalks for people like us. We stay on them. You know what I mean? If you're not ready to take on the risks that are going on out there, then don't try to engage with those people in the game that they playing. Don't try to get involved in what they got going on, and don't think you can perceive what it is that they're dealing with, but that you can step out there and be an all-star in their game. You ain't that. You ain't gonna be that by pretending to be that, and you certainly ain't gonna be that by lying to yourself. All you're gonna get is dead. And that's a conversation that needs to be had. So I'm sorry for people who this ain't, if this ain't the video for you, I get it. But my community and some of the people, not even in my community, people don't look nothing like me, but are listening to people like Act and how they're supposed to, they're learning how to act in regards to Act and what he's telling them in their podcast. He gonna get people shot. he gonna get some really, really brave, kind individuals murked out following him and his bullcrap. You know what I mean? So that's don't be like him. Stay in your lane, and if you can avoid street people, stay away from them. Straight up, because civilians and street people don't mix. Why? Because they don't live by the same rules. One thing I learned about this whole snitching movement is that it's lost in translation. There's so many different variations of what should be and what shouldn't be in regards to that. So many different definitions of what snitching is and what isn't. Some people think certain things is cool. You go over there, you can do this. You go over there, you can't do that. They go over there, and it's a politic game. They don't even care who's snitching so long as they part of this crew. It's too intricate outside. I'm trying to tell you. It's like I said, the crypto game. I liken it to the crypto space. You don't even know what questions to ask unless you get in there and dip your toes in. Then you'll know what you can and cannot do. Then you'll know what transaction fees are. You'll know all about gas fees. You'll know all about that. But if you never dip into the crypto space and you just take $100 and think you're going to make $1,000 without asking any questions, guess what? You're going to go in there and get all your money snatched up out of you. You ain't going to make a dime. Messing around, trade a couple times, and your money's going to be gone. Streets the same way. Just because you got confidence does not mean you understand what's going on. There is no rules out there. There's no justice out there, and there's no fairness out there. So if you're ready to play that game, it ends in one way, with you failing. You get a short run, but it ain't gonna last long. So that's what I'm gonna say, man. For those who like to play at it, man, I tell you, those who aren't playing at it, they're born in it. Never forget that. Everybody else, they playing. The people who are real, they don't have no choice. They already in too deep and have gone too far. So don't think you can wake up and start gangbanging, or wake up and think you're going to be outside and make some money. You're not. You're just going to be swallowed up by something that has already mastered itself. You walking in green, baby. You are food out there. So that's what I want to say. Ack, he'll never see this video. But I don't think he should be engaging in street conversations of any kind. I really don't, because he is far away from understanding exactly what I'm saying about the one mistake you can only make one time. He don't understand that at all. He's trying to rationalize his way through stuff that you cannot rationalize your way through. People will do things to you just to make an example out of you, just so someone else will see them do it to you. Just because you acting hard and being phony. Don't play like that. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, that's what I got to say, man. Hopefully there are conversations had behind the scenes that can keep him safe. If he's smart, he will have those conversations. But, it just seems to me that he's just being real reckless. And I just felt like it was important for me to use my voice to try to offset some of that, if for anybody who watched that and watched me. So that's what I got to say. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.